What's up, guys? I'm Ethan, host of the Ethan Lemler podcast show. And today here we have George, Ryan, and Noah. What's up, guys? All right, let's jump right into it here. Today we have for you our picks for week 14. This week, it's going to be a good week. A lot of good games, some very terrible games as well, as you will see. But a very hot race going on in the AFC. Wild card, a lot of teams fighting for 2 or potentially 3 spots. We'll see what happens in another game that we're going to talk about, the Ravens-Browns game. And NFC, some division, although it's not as great as a division, but they're still fighting for that last playoff spot there. All right, let's get right into it here. Well, Rams-Patriots already happened. We weren't able to see that. Rams showed that they are not to be messed with, but we will get into that in our analysis, which will come out Monday or Tuesday of this week. Texans-Bears. So Texans have been playing pretty good. They lost to the Colts last week, but Deshaun Watson has been playing incredible, as he always does. He's a very underrated quarterback in my eyes. Bears dropped 7 straight after going 5-0. They look helpless. They have no quarterback. Their defense is okay. I mean, I can't not pick the Texans here. Noah?
Yeah, easy call. I'm going Texans as well.
Ryan?
Although the Bears should be favored in this game, the Texans are. That tells you a lot. So I'm going with the Texans.
George?
Yeah, the Bears definitely have no heart left, especially after last week getting comeback victory by the Lions.
Oh, that one hurt.
I can't pick the Bears.
Right? And then Rishi also picked the Texans. He wasn't here today, but I will be saying his picks, which he already sent in. You see me writing down. I keep track of all of our picks every week. We'll see who has the best record after week 13, which when we started recording these. Next game, Cowboys-Bengals. Now this is what I was talking about. The best of the worst right here. We've got the 3-9 Cowboys coming in after being not manhandled, but pretty blown out by the Ravens, giving up a lot of rushing yards. Then the Bengals coming in, no Joe Burrow coming in, almost beat the Dolphins last week, which is good for them, but very bad teams. I'm going to have to go with the Bengals on this one. I know it's going to be a tough one. This might be the toughest pick of the week. But the Bengals have been the Cowboys defense has just been terrible, and Bengals have Joe Mixon. I think that's the only outlier here is that it's gonna be able to have the Bengals win the game.
I think Joe Mixon is out.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'm still gonna go Bengals.
I have to pick the Cowboys. I mean, the Bengals O-line is just non-existent. I saw last week there was a fight at the end of the Dolphins and Bengals game, and none of the O-line came up to help in the fight. They just sat there doing nothing, and that's basically what they do when they play football. Same exact thing. So, and the Cowboys have an okay D-line, and the offense did show signs of flashes. So, I have to go Cowboys.
Right. Actually, Noah, my bad.
I will go Cowboys as well. I think the Bengals are the better team, but they just haven't been playing with any heart since Joe Burrow got hurt. So.
Right.
I'm going to go with the Bengals. The Bengals' last 2 games have been pretty good for the Bengals against the Giants and the Dolphins last week. They've been close to winning both of them. And the Cowboys have just been going down for so long.
Yeah. Then Rishi picked the Cowboys. So 3-2 split. I don't think we saw any of those last week. I think we will see a couple of those this week, though, especially since we're only on the third game. Chiefs-Dolphins. For an 8-11-1 versus an 8-4, the spread is Kansas City by 7. I mean, that tells you all you need to know about this Kansas City team. Obviously, an upset is possible, but I don't see it. Kansas City for me.
Yeah, Kansas City all the way in this game. The Dolphins just aren't up to the standard that Kansas City is at. They're the best team in the AFC, probably the best team in the league.
I'm going Dolphins this week. I saw a statistic. Apparently, the Dolphins are 5-0 against 11-1 teams in December. So
What an odd statistic that is.
I know it's weird, but it's
What a
true.
specific statistic.
And I mean, the Chiefs' offense has been good, but they've been slowed down a couple of times. I think Brian Flores is a good enough head coach to utilize all his players the right way on the defense. I really see Tua breakout game. He's been very consistent so far, and he hasn't had one terrible game. He hasn't even thrown an interception yet. So I think it's a Tua breakout game. Miami wins.
No?
I will take the Chiefs. They're the best team in the NFL, but I think Tua and the Dolphins will keep it close. So I would take Miami against the spread.
Rishi picked Kansas City as well, so George is an outlier Dolphins pick right now. Next game up, Cardinals Giants. Now, at the beginning of the year, when the Cardinals were doing really well, Giants, I believe, had 2 wins in the season. I tell you, this would be a blowout. Currently, Arizona's favored by 2.5. Giants are coming off a winning streak. Cardinals are coming off a very heavy losing streak. I can't pick against the streaking Giants right now, especially since I think Jones is back. Daniel Jones is back. So I'm going to have to go with the Giants. George?
I think the Cardinals are going to win this one. I mean, they've been bad the past few weeks, but they do have the chance to turn it around. They have other weapons besides D-Hop, and the Giants only have one good cornerback. I think the Cardinals, even though the Giants have an okay D-line, Kyler Murray is just going to be too good on his feet for that. I think he's going to have a big game, and once again, the Cardinals defense, it's not great, but it will be enough to stop Daniel Jones.
No?
I am taking the Cardinals. They're 6-6, so it's sort of a must-win game for them. They really need to win these last 4, and I think they will against the Giants, who people have sort of been, talking up the Giants a lot. They're 5-2 in their last 7 games. I don't think they're as good as everyone's saying they are. That defense is solid, but I really can't see the offense doing anything against the Cardinals.
The Giants coming off a 4-game winning streak. Cardinals coming off a 3-game losing streak. I think the Giants are too hot. And although I might be biased, Giants are going to win this game. Daniel Jones, I think they named him starter today. I don't think he's full health yet, so I think we might see a lot of Wayne Gallman tomorrow, either way.
Yeah. So, again, Ryan and I, 2v3 for the rest. Rishi picked the Cardinals as well. Vikings, Buccaneers. Vikings coming off some inconsistent games, winning against the good Packers a couple weeks ago, and almost losing to the Jaguars last week. Buccaneers, they've been a weird story. First, they were a Super Bowl contender. Now they're 7-5 on a fringe playoff team currently. Tom Brady, obviously, and for that reason, with Tom Brady, as I said, I'm gonna have to go with the Buccaneers. George?
This really is an interesting game. I think I'm gonna go Vikings in this one. They have opportunity. They've kept it. I don't know. The Vikings are not great, but I feel like the Buccaneers are worse right now.
No?
I would probably be taking the Vikings. I think they have been playing better than the Buccaneers, but you look at the records, the Vikings are 6-6 and the Bucs are 7-5. So whoever wins this game is probably going to get the number 7 seed. So you look at it as, borderline a playoff game, and for that reason, I'm going to take the Bucs because Brady doesn't lose playoff games.
And Ryan?
What are you
Yeah,
talking
I'm
about?
taking the Bucs.
Okay.
Brady doesn't lose playoff games.
He probably won the most playoff games, seeing he won 6 Super Bowls. That's a discussion for another time about what happened in those. But Yeah, he doesn't lose clutch games.
See,
Broncos Panthers, another one. We won't spend a long time on this one. 2 4-8 teams, really lackluster seasons from both of them. Carolina 3.5-point favorites. Broncos put up a pretty good fight against Kansas City, just lost out on that. Panthers, they've had a couple good weeks, but again, very inconsistent. Both teams very inconsistent. I'm going to have to go with the Panthers here just because I do like Teddy Bridgewater more than Drew Lock at this point in time, and I think he will be able to lead the Panthers to a win here. Noah?
I'll take Carolina.
Ryan?
This is a very hard game to pick. I'll take the Broncos.
And George?
Is this game Panthers versus Broncos?
Yeah.
Panthers easily.
And, I messed that one up. I will go back and change that because I messed up Rishi's pick, whatever it is. So, Titans Jaguars, obviously 8-4 team versus a 1-11 Jacksonville team. Jaguars haven't been looking terrible the last couple of weeks. If I'm going to be honest, a couple close losses in the last few. Titans coming off a rough one. There's nothing short of that. I think Derrick Henry and Tannehill are going to come looking for a vengeance against a much weaker Jacksonville team. Titans are favorited by 7 points. I think they're going to win by a lot more than that. Ryan?
Yeah, Titans easily. Jacksonville has just been awful. Even though the Titans lost, as you said, a tough one against the Browns, they're going to rebound against Jacksonville.
Noah?
Titans, no question.
George?
Yeah, Titans. There's no way the
All
Jags.
right. Rishi went Titans. This is another Titans across the board here.
Unless
George, no, stop
Oh,
talking,
boy.
George.
unless
No,
Minshew
no.
wins. I
Mute
mean,
him.
unless he starts, because there's rumor that he might start this game.
Doesn't matter. Their
No,
defense
he's
is
Not
pretty
gonna matter,
bad.
dude.
And trust the mustache.
I do too, but his team is not good. There's nothing more to say other than that. Okay, Colts Raiders. This
I
is a
don't know.
very
If you
good
had a
game. This
confident
is
QB. You know what? I'm going Jags. I changed my pick.
Oh
No, you're
my
not.
gosh.
No.
I'm going
Ethan,
Jags.
don't change that pick. He's
I'm
not
changing the
going
pick.
with
He wants to change it.
that.
If
He's
change
not.
it,
It's
you
just
know,
a loss
picking
for
the
him.
Jags.
remember what happened? We said last time that it was a stupid
We're
pick.
gonna lose
I am-
credibility with stuff like this, man.
Yeah, George, you're losing all credibility. Sorry.
I
He's
don't
picked
know if
against
No,
I
all
don't,
our
I don't
picks.
care if I go
Jaguars.
1-13 this week or 1-15 this week.
All right.
You should
Yes,
get.
you do. You should. We should have a punishment for that. We'll discuss that later on, whoever is the worst one. We'll discuss it off podcast and tell you guys what we have in store. So Colts Raiders, Indianapolis is 3-point favorites. Colts coming off a win against the Texans. Not a strong win against a lowly Texans teams, but definitely a win, which is really good for them. Raiders coming off barely beating the Jets. Well, both teams need a bounce back game, even though they both won, not by a lot though. This game has incredible playoff implications for the AFC wildcard race. I'm gonna have to give this one to the Colts. They've been playing a little more consistently than Raiders, and I don't think at this point I can pick the Raiders over a pretty good playoff team like the Colts. George?
I think I'll go Colts.
Noah?
The Colts are the better team, no question. But I don't know. I like the Raiders in this one.
Ryan?
The Raiders nearly lost to the Jets. They should have lost to the Jets. So
Should they have? I mean,
Yes.
they didn't.
They should have.
But I'm pretty sure. Here, let me grab this for you. You see this? This is what it looks like. You see this cross off? I believe it's right. It's right here. You see this cross off? This means that the Jets did lose.
I know they lost.
The
They
cross
should
off is that you lost. I just wanted to say that. But no, you're right.
So easily the Colts.
Easily the Colts. All right. Jets, Seahawks. Now. I'm
No,
happy with
just
the Jets.
don't
I'm
go
kidding.
over it, dude. We're all picking the Seahawks, aren't we?
Yeah, we don't really have to talk about this one. Seahawks across the board. Rishi picks Seahawks. Last game you picked the Colts as well. What'd you say, Ryan?
No.
No,
No
Ryan,
Jets
what
this week. I've given up on the Jets.
you've given up.
They
13
want
weeks
to
too late,
lose.
buddy.
They want to lose.
Yeah, they
Yes.
do. All right. Packers Lions. Packers strong. George, I haven't even given the introduction yet.
There's no need to discuss
No,
this.
George,
It's gonna be a
there is a
blowout.
need to discuss.
There
it.
really isn't.
No, there's
Okay.
no need.
We're gonna go
I mean,
with
is that
Packers then. Noah.
Yeah, Packers.
Yeah, Rishi went with Packers as well. Let me write this down. I'm gonna say a few quick things. George didn't have to butt in there. Just kidding. Packers coming off strong wins against the Eagles. Pretty dominant performance by Aaron Rodgers. Pretty good performance by their defense. And the Lions are the Lions. Next up, Saints versus Eagles.
All right, here we go.
Noah,
I am
okay.
taking the Philadelphia Eagles in this game.
You were the
Hear me out.
biggest homer I've ever seen.
Hear me out.
You're worse than me.
Hear me out. I picked the Packers last week. By the way, do you know what score I predicted in that game?
What did you predict?
I said Packers 31, Eagles 16. I was 1 point off. Okay, hear me out.
Clairvoyant Noah.
Last year, 4-1 in December. 2018, 4-1 in December. 2017, 3-1 in December if you don't count the last game.
But we do count the last game.
It was a meaning that we didn't play any.
Oh, you're right. Okay. No, never mind.
Watch the Eagles just get completely blown out.
No.
I'm
gonna
waiting
happen.
for it. I'm waiting
George,
for it.
it's enough. Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts plays slightly above average, they will win this game. Quarterback play has been dragging them down all season. They had the worst quarterback in the NFL. I still think he's good, but he was playing like the worst quarterback in the NFL. Just getting him off the field is a huge boost. And this team knows. I'm not saying that this win will be the start of a playoff run, but it could be the start of a playoff run. All they need is the Giants to lose 2 of 4 and Washington to lose 1 of 3. The Eagles are going to win this game and keep their season alive.
All right. Just for an audience at home, Noah spent I'm not sure how long. I think it was a pretty long time creating a scenario where the Eagles do make the playoffs. We're gonna try to. Well, I'm gonna have Noah post that on Instagram when this video comes out. You can find us on Instagram at official_ELPS on Insta, and on Spotify, the new Ethan Lemler podcast show. Of course, on there you can find Noah's Eagles podcast, and hopefully, if I eventually get my Ravens podcast out there. George, I'll talk about this for a second, actually. Saints versus Eagles. This is an 8-point favorite for the Saints. I really love what Taysom Hill's been doing. He's been proving the haters wrong. He's been having great weeks in
He has
it.
2 touchdown passes.
What?
He has 2 touchdown passes
2 touchdown
So?
passes. Who would have thought?
They've won the games.
in 3 games. That's
I mean, he has – how many rushing touchdowns does he have, though?
just 2, I think. No, more than 2.
Yeah.
They've won games.
They've won every game
Against
he's
the
played.
Falcons and the Broncos.
He's won the games.
Against the Falcons and the Broncos.
He's still
The
I'd
Saints
say
are
they're
not as
better
good
than
as
the
you think they
Eagles.
are.
I'm riding with the Philly train this week. I'm going with the Eagles.
Oh
my
my
God.
gosh.
George, this is like a cult mentality right here. This is
Go
okay.
with the
I'm
Eagles.
going to go with the Saints because apparently I'm the only logical voice here. Ryan, what do you have to say?
Saints.
Saints. And Noah, who would have backed us up here, he picked the Saints as well because it makes sense.
Ethan, each of the last 3 years, with his back against the wall, Doug Peterson has coached unbelievable football. He took a backup quarterback to the Super Bowl and beat Bill Belichick. In 2018,
I don't think that was
Carson Wentz
coaching.
was playing
That was just
terrible
Nick
That was
Foles.
Nick
off
Foles.
Patrick
That was
Mahomes.
Big Dick Nick.
then why hasn't he done
George,
the same thing in Chicago?
Please
That's
no.
because he's not under pressure in
He
Chicago.
had everything to do with coaching.
It
Did
has
you
nothing
see
to-
him down that week when they came back against like the Falcons? I think that wasn't because the Falcons are chokers. Because Nick Foles is a legend under pressure.
Then why hasn't he done anything in Chicago?
No, the Eagles were much better the last 3 years.
I
This
know,
year
they
they're
were.
so much worse.
They are not so much worse.
They are so much
They
Bad
are.
quarterback
Train
play
all
will
the
make
way.
you look
Jalen
worse
Hurts
than you
is a
are.
beast.
2 years ago they are Super Bowl winners. A year ago they were a playoff team. This year they're 3-8-1.
They should not have a chance to make the playoffs.
Bad
but
quarterback play
sadly
will
they
make
do.
you look worse than you are. Getting Wentz off the field is a big enough impact.
We'll have to
on his
see. But I believe Taysom Hill is 10 times better than Jalen Hurts. And we'll have to see if that's correct. but
It's because the
What I've
Packers
seen-
I
weren't
don't think
prepared
Jalen
for him.
Hurts is good, but I think the Philly defense will shut down Taysom Hill and the Saints.
we'll have to see. Let's move on though. Falcons Chargers again, another best of the worst. 4-8, 3-9. Falcons are favorites by 2.5 points. Chargers are again. I'm going to say this about a couple of teams here. They're coming off a really rough week, getting absolutely demolished by this Cam Newton Patriots. But I overall think they have a pretty good team. They're young. They're very young, especially with their quarterback play. And I think they're better than what they play. Falcons are they were really bad at the beginning of the year. That's all you can really say about them. But in the last couple of weeks, they found their form. They played pretty well against the Saints. Couldn't close it out. They've had a couple big wins in the last couple of weeks as well. Although they have no playoff implications, this is just how the Falcons work. What I said, you might think I'm going to pick the Falcons, but I do like the Chargers, and I will be picking the Chargers for this game. Noah?
Yeah, not a super impactful game, but I will pick the Falcons.
I'm going with the Falcons too. At this point the Chargers are just tanking. Anthony Lynn is long gone. I don't see the Chargers winning. I'm going with Falcons. They're playing like a playoff team.
Yeah, the Chargers have only beat the Bengals, Jags, and Jets.
I have faith. I don't know.
So I'm going
I
with the
think
Falcons.
they're playing down. They're playing down right now, and I don't think it's smart to choose against them, especially against a not so great opponent in the Falcons. We'll have to see, but that's just what I'm saying. And Rishi picked the Falcons as well. Washington football team versus the 49ers. This is a very interesting game. Washington football team coming off and beating the unbeaten Steelers last week. Thank you, Washington football team. I love you so much. 49ers coming off a loss to a very good Josh Allen Bills team. Football team at 5-7, still in the playoff race somehow in the NFC East. Between them and the Giants, don't even say anything, Noah. I said what I said.
You said correctly.
Yeah, I said correctly. I really love Washington, what they're doing. 49ers at 5-7. I don't see them making the playoffs. They've kind of ruined that at the moment. I'm going to go with the Washington football team. Ryan?
Football team train. Let's go.
Ryan.
They're running the
Go ahead.
table.
Yeah,
They're going to clinch the division this week. Giants will lose. The Washington.
No, they can't, George. What is this? What is this?
No, not
how
how
it
we're
works
division
at
just
all.
not
They're going
true.
to take the lead in the division.
Yes,
Take the lead in the division.
That's much
what they're
different.
going to do.
that's so much different than clinching.
Yeah, I misworded it. But
Yeah,
they're going to take the lead in the division this week.
Ryan.
I really want the Niners to win for the Giants' sake, and I think they will win.
Niners?
Yeah.
All right. Noah.
I really, really, really want the Washington football team to lose. So maybe that's influencing this a little bit. But
Maybe.
I liked what the Niners showed us last week against the Bills. They didn't win, but the Bills are a great team. The Niners showed a little bit of potential, and I think the hype for the football team is way overblown. The Steelers are playing like a 6-6 team. I mean, and they almost won that game. So no, I'm taking the Niners.
Niners. All right. Coming down to the final two, I think these could be the most interesting picks that we have. Steelers, Bills, 11-1. Steelers at 11-1. Bills at 9-3. Fun. This is pretty crazy, I think. Buffalo is 2-point favorites over an 11-1 Steelers. Obviously, I think that's correct because the Steelers are the most overhyped the team right now. I think they're not a great team. They've gotten lucky every week except for last week, which they lost to the football team. Bills have been playing incredible football, especially last week. Josh Allen showed that he's not just a running quarterback, and he was throwing darts all over the field as well. He was also using his legs, as he always does week in, week in, week out. So I'm going to have to go with the Bills. And I'm going to go by the Bills by a lot. Noah.
I wouldn't say by a lot, but I am also going to take the Bills. I think I mean, Josh Allen is a really good quarterback. Everyone knows it now. He's been playing lights out this year, and I think Sean McDermott should be a Coach of the Year candidate.
Ryan?
Yeah, with the Steelers' loss to Washington last week, the Bills are much better than Washington, so got to go with the Bills.
George?
I'm right now. I'm searching up if Joe Hayden is playing tomorrow or not. He's their number one corner of Pittsburgh. I think if he plays, the Steelers win. But if he is not playing, then the Steelers will lose. He made a huge difference last week.
I'm not sure how to note that in my notebook.
I'm searching up if he's playing or not.
Okay, we'll move on while George is doing his last-second research. Thank you for being prepared to talk, George.
I was doing my fantasy basketball.
Yeah, I know you were. Okay, the Monday game here, Ravens versus Browns. Okay, now
Browns.
I call Noah Homer, and I am just as bad.
Joe Hayden is not playing. So
He's not playing, so I'm going to put you down for the Bills. Rishi also picked the Bills.
Actually, nah, I'm going Steelers.
Okay,
my
George. Wow, you just did that. Great, George. Ravens versus Browns. This is at Cleveland, and this is coming off. Well, both are coming off victories. Browns a dominant victory over the Titans. Ravens a pretty dominant victory over the Cowboys. Obviously, very different caliber of football teams. But I want to bring you back to Week 1. Ravens win 38-6. Obviously, two very different football teams here. But could we see more of the same of the matchup between the two? Because the Ravens do match up pretty well against them, especially since they're pretty good against the run, especially in the last couple of weeks. Ravens also very good running team. They're both very good running teams. This is obviously going to come down to quarterback play. Is Lamar going to have the same type of game as he did last week against the Cowboys and be able to show how good he actually is? And is Baker going to be able to have the same type of form he did against the Titans? Whoever's the best quarterback game will most likely win the ball game. It's also going to come down to turnovers. Who's going to throw less interceptions? Who's going to do some less stupid things? Obviously, like every football team does. But as a homers, I'm going to go with the Ravens. Noah?
I don't know. I like the Browns, but they've had a really easy schedule. They haven't beaten a team by 2 scores since October 11th when they played the Colts. I want to pick the Browns, but I feel like the Ravens are going to win this game.
So you're going to go with the Ravens?
Yeah, I'm going with the Ravens.
All right. Ryan?
George, you can go.
Okay. I'm picking the Ravens in this one, too. I don't see the Browns winning. I mean, they barely beat the Titans, and that took a career game out of Baker Mayfield.
Titans are good, too.
Ryan?
Dog pound. Browns.
I really wish Rishi was here to defend his team because obviously he picked the Browns. We're all homers here.
I'm not a homer this week, dude. The Eagles are going to win.
No.
What? No.
I'm telling you that right
You
now.
can't
No,
genuinely say that.
you are a definite
I can.
homer. It's
I'm
not
going to look
even
like a
close.
genius when I go 16-0 this week.
Let's watch.
There's no way.
George, it's impossible for you to go to 16-0 because we only picking 15 teams.
Oh.
Excuse me, 15 games.
Well,
How are there only 15?
Thursday night.
I
we
think
don't-
my
we
prediction
didn't
for
pick
this
one
week
pick.
is I'm going 14-1. I think the Jaguars are going to lose.
Then why'd you
Then
pick them?
why'd you pick them?
I have trust in the Jaguars.
Obviously,
You
you
just
don't.
said
You
they're
Just
gonna
said they
win.
would lose.
You just said they're going to lose,
Making
George.
sense.
You do understand that.
The Jaguars,
He doesn't understand.
it depends. I trust Minshew, and hopefully he starts.
Just so everybody knows that's watching this or listening to this on Spotify, I will not be letting George switch his pick after this podcast ends. So all of his picks will be final. You do understand that, George?
Yeah. Well,
All
did
right.
you take me as for the Steelers or the Bills?
You got the Steelers.
Okay. Yep.
All right. So that's all the games, and I think that's going to do it for us today. Tune in Monday or Tuesday whenever we get it out for our Week 14 analysis. Thank you all for watching. Check us on Insta and Spotify. See you guys in the next one. Adios.